Once you get in the game, the fear of getting in the game goes away. Hey, welcome. I'm Jason with Jason Drees Coaching. Welcome to the Do the Impossible podcast. Don't forget to join me every Monday at 10 a.m. Central, where I will align your mindset for the week. Go to mondaymindsetreset.com. It's a 20-minute call, free. Sign up there. Today, let's talk about you have got to get in the game. You've got to get in the game. What does that mean? You've got to get in the game. You may think you're in the game. You're probably in the game, but some areas you may not be in the game. And this topic comes up a lot. And there are times like when I was learning how to coach and I was learning the coaching and the coaching wasn't working. And you're talking to a client and you're having call after call and the client is not taking action. And the client's not taking action and you're like, what is going on? You're doing everything on your part. And then I started to hear things like analysis paralysis, doubting, looping in circles. And that's when I started to understand the concept of getting in the game. Because it's almost like when you're going to go play a game, you can be on the sideline. And you could be on the sideline. Let's say you're playing basketball. You want to go play basketball. The game you want to play is basketball, and you're standing on the sideline. When you're standing on the sideline, you can watch the game. But you cannot play the game until you get into the game, until you walk on the court and start playing the game. I always know now when a client isn't in the game, because when they're talking to me about coaching and action and focus and what to do, the action, they're actually in a process of deciding whether or not to take the action. So if you are in a situation where you're trying to choose whether to take the action, you can actually be not in the game. What does that mean, not in the game? I am in the game. I'm here, I'm making decisions, but are you really? Because, for example, I will sometimes get a coaching call and a client will say, I want to take this action, but I'm scared of the potential downsides or the risks of the action, which is the same thing as, which comes up a lot. I hear the term analysis paralysis. What is analysis paralysis? Analysis paralysis, what I see a lot, because I work with a lot of real estate investors, analysis paralysis is trying to take an action, but unable to analyze a clear direction that creates the wanted result. And therefore, there's the lack of action. So then there's this analysis over and over and over again. I'm going to do this new thing. I'm going to do this new thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a plan. I can't figure it out how. The planning's not working. And then over and over again, you're planning and you're never taking action. Because what's actually happening in those situations is that you're trying to control the result. And if the result involves other people, you cannot control the result. If your result involves, for example, a sale or an investment or something that involves other people to make a decision, you can never control that. You cannot. Because the only thing you can control is yourself. So I've talked to some clients and they've been on the sideline thinking they're going to start a new business, thinking they're going to start a side hustle, thinking they're going to take action to change their job. And they're just month after month and year after year in the same spot. They're in the same spot because they didn't get in the game. They're setting big goals, but they're not following through. And I have a really interesting story on how I conquered that myself. And I'll tell you that in a minute. But the thing you want to understand is that you can be on the sideline. Let's think about basketball. You're on the side of the basketball court. You want to play the game. You're about to go in the game, and then the person who you're taking over for gets elbowed in the face and gets their nose broken. And you can sit there on the sideline wondering if it's safe to get in the game. And you can try to plan and prepare as best you can, but when you start engaging in life, when you start engaging at your full potential, really, and going big and swinging for the fences and hitting impossible targets, you're going to hit unknown obstacles. There's absolutely no way to prepare for that unknown obstacle other than to be prepared to handle it, because you don't know what it is. You don't know what obstacle is coming up. So you either you can sit on the sideline and worry about getting in the game. Oh my God, it may not work. Or you can just fucking get in the game and then figure it out. Because nothing is going to happen until you get in the game. That's why I don't coach people anymore who aren't in the game. Because if they're not in the game, they're not committed to taking action. So if you're not moving towards your target, if you're not making results and actions towards that thing you want, are you, check in, right? Are you stuck in analysis? Are you stuck in trying to validate and determine every single possible detail? Or are you in the game taking action? And the simple way to think about this is, are you spending more time thinking about getting in the game? Or are you spending more time thinking about winning the game? Because you can sit there and spend hours and days and weeks and months thinking about getting in the game and thinking about being successful, but nothing is ever going to change until you walk onto that court and you pick up the ball and start playing. Nothing happens till you engage. And you are going to have to accept whatever risk and obstacles comes with playing that game. That's how life works. If you want to grow your income, if you want to get a new job, if you want to start a new investing business, if you want a side hustle, there are risks, absolutely. There's always risk. There's risk driving your car. But do you want to spend your life worrying about driving to the grocery store, or do you just want to live your life? It's up to you. Are you ready to engage? Because the thing is, all of that, for those people that are on the sideline, worrying about getting in, having fear about getting in, having doubt about getting in the game, all of that fear and worry and doubt disappears the moment you give yourself no other option but to play the game. So if you decide, I am going to play the game, and maybe it's I'm going to start that side hustle, I am going to look for a new job, I'm going to learn how to grow my income, I'm going to figure out how to make passive income in real estate. Whatever that target is, you can spend your time worrying about if it's going to work or not, or you can decide that it's going to happen. And at that point, you're putting your focus, your energy, and your resources in the right place. And it's very easy to get stuck on the sideline if you're not paying attention. Because the thing is, in real estate investing, there's risk. Yes, there is risk involved. You cannot outplan the risk of an investment. An investment is inherently risky because you can't control the outcome, because the outcome involves other people. It involves one person, multiple people, could involve the business you're investing in, could involve the clients of that business. You cannot outplan the risk. So the best strategy you should do is to calculate how much risk you are open to tolerating at what specific time and what specific amount, and that can get you moving. But if you're in analysis paralysis and not moving, the first thing you need to do is make a decision to get in the game. And make a decision that I'm going to hit the target by this date. I'm going to take some action because it's time for me to engage. And I will share with you that when you start to engage in that game, it is not going to be easy. Nope, it's going to be hard. It's going to stretch you. Some things may be easy, but the whole process of growth and expansion is growing and transforming you. If you lean into that growth, if you embrace that process, that journey, that direction, you'll realize that the obstacles that life is giving you on that path, a path of growth, are specifically tailored for you to create the version of you that has completed the result. That is the path. So if you're facing challenges and obstacles right now, you are on the right path, because the right path is one of growth. Remember, once you get in the game, the fear of getting in the game goes away. So to get in the game, what do you need to do? You need to make a decision to commit to the end result. Now, if you don't know how to do it, that's perfectly fine. Your next result might be, I am going to get a first investment property. And you may not know how to do that. And the way you do that with certainty and get in the game is not, I'm gonna try to make a decision and create a plan for it. Because a lot of times we'll be like, can I create a plan for a successful rental property with passive income? And you may be looking at that, and you may be looking at properties and calculating loans, and if you're unable to get that with certainty, it's because you need more information that you don't have right now, or it involves other people making decisions because you don't know if the person's going to sell you that house or you have that property. So what you need to do is make a decision like this. I am going to get my first investment property. I am going to take action towards my first investment property. And I'm going to make X number of offers by this date, or I'm going to get a loan approved by this date, or I'm going to get a property closed by this date. That is going to get you moving. That decision will get you into the game where you can start solving the challenges and the problems of winning the game. Because that's what you're really after, winning the game. And let me also say that if you're the type of person with a personality that's stuck in analysis paralysis or going in circles and can't decide on what step to take next, that means your strength is planning. Your strength of your skill set in your brain is detailed precision. But you're at the part of the process because the part of the process you're at right now is the part where you need to make a decision and commit to a target that is partially unknown because you haven't done it before. And that's where you double down. And here's the number one way to get certainty is to make a decision like this. I am going to commit to this result and I am going to hit this result because I'm not going to stop until I do. See how that creates certainty? Try that. I am going to hit this target even if I don't know how, because I'm not going to stop until I do. That's how you create that certainty. Create alignment with the end result and not resistance to a part of the process. You can solve that resistance to this part of the process by committing and focusing on the end result. Does that make sense? Really clear, isn't it? So remember, if you're in analysis paralysis, number one, take a look at what you're trying to solve. You're probably trying to answer a question that you can't answer, either because you don't have enough information or because you can never have enough information because the answer involves other people. And if that's the case, go to step number two. Look at why. Why are you struggling with this decision? What are you trying to figure out? Is it possible for you to figure that out right now? Is there any way you can get that information? Or is that information you would love to have, but you can't get until you figure out the process? Look at what you actually can control. Looking at what you can control, you can start to look at the risk involved based on the unknown factors you can't resolve. Calculate that tolerance for risk. Do everything you can to mitigate it. Reduce that risk as best you can, and then make a decision that the target is going to happen and start moving forward. Don't live your life on the sideline. Don't sit there waiting to get in the game, because the sooner you get in the game, the sooner you will start getting additional feedback towards the target to determine if you're on the right path or if you're not on the right path. Because if you're stationary, you're not getting any new input. You've got to be moving. So make the decision, get in the game, and then focus on winning the game, not getting in the game. I hope this was helpful. I'm Jason with Jason Drees Coaching. This is the Do the Impossible podcast. If you are stuck and need help, go to freeintrosession.com. Book in a free intro coaching session and get some movement to help you moving past this analysis paralysis. Because once you get in that game, you can do great things. I know you're meant for it. I will talk to you next week when we continue this conversation about the breaking down the code for human greatness. Take care. Bye-bye. For those of you listening on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and click the alert button so that you get to take advantage of every episode as soon as it airs.